Hey everybody, so today I'm here to do an end of the year Q&A with you guys. I wanted to do a Christmas wrap with me like I know I've done for the past couple years, but that was an epic fail. The kids were losing their mind the entire time in the room with Mark, and I was sweating, not getting anything in frame, and I couldn't even focus on the questions because of the other two things. So I didn't even get through that video. I didn't obviously upload it, but I did want to do some kind of Q&A because it's been a while since I've done one on here. So I asked for questions over on Instagram, and I'm just going to go through those. And I was going to apologize for being in my bedroom because the last video that I made in my bedroom, that was just kind of like last minute. It wasn't a planned video, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I actually kind of like being in here. It kind of feels like my office space. So like, I know that this is just a bedroom. It's not an office space. It's not some beautiful backdrop and wonderful lighting that you can't see reflected in my glasses or whatever. But you know, it's real. So I kind of like having this space to make videos in. So you might see more of this, who knows? So the first question is, how do you get to work from home with little kids around? Hugs from France. Well, hugs back from the United States. But most of the time I record in bulk on the weekends when my husband is home. And then what we do is we typically wait for Lexi to be taking her nap, which is in her own bedroom. And then he will take the older girls into their bedroom and they do stuff, whether it's an activity or he just lets them watch a movie and he does whatever on his phone, but they're just quiet for a couple hours while I go ahead and I film whatever I need to out in the living room. Sometimes that's reversed, like if you see me recording a video that's in the girls' room or like in here right now, all three of them are up and out in the living room. So most of the time I try to plan my videos out to be on the weekend so we can all just know that mom is gonna work, I have to get this done, and I normally do like 2 or 3 videos, just depending. Maybe it's just one. Who knows what I have planned for each week, but that way, if I do want to put up multiple videos, I'm not trying to record multiple times a week. That is just not doable. That's what I did in like the first few years of being on YouTube. I would try to film multiple different times a week, but that was just super difficult and much easier to get it done in one stint. It is exhausting. I'm so sick of hearing myself talk by the end of it, and it's a lot, but it works out far better for my channel if I do it that way. So that's typically how we get it done. Before the pandemic, I would also use them staying at grandparents' houses and nap time and stuff like that, or going to school, and I would film then. But we don't have that because we're homeschooling and we don't go anywhere. Yeah, that's how I record my videos. Next is, are you picking a word or phrase for 2021 or planning to do 21 specific things? I'd never heard of the 21 specific things. I think that's really interesting. I've also heard of picking themes instead of resolutions and a bunch of different creative things around the internet, and I'm not. I know that I have picked words in the years prior. I've even done videos on like what my goals would be and stuff, but if you've been around for a while, I don't tend to like goals, and I apparently do not like resolutions because I just get too fixated on them and it's not healthy. So I'm not going to be doing that this year. Quite frankly, I feel like what I need in 2021 is more of what I was trying to do in the second half of 2020. And honestly, 2020 has given so much that I know that I'm going to carry some of it into 2021. So I feel like my plate's full. I have enough. I don't need more resolutions or ideas or things to do right now. What I really need to do is focus on my mental health and my other responsibilities and the things that make me happy, and finding ways to lean into those. That's what I'm interested in doing in 2021. I've found that in doing the work with my mental health and therapy sessions and self-care and all of that work that goes into those things, it has made my time with my family and the things that I enjoy, like my work and things that I just like to do for myself, whether it's creative things or whatever, it's made things so much easier. It has made things a lot more enjoyable. It has slowly started to change my perspective about a lot of stuff because my mental health is getting better. Some days we are hitting a plateau, and some days in 2020 we're hitting some rough dips, but in general, I think there's been progression, and I'm just trying to focus on that. So I don't know how to bottle that all up and make that nice and cute and presentable, but really that's all I'm trying to do in 2021, because the first half of 2020, real rough. And reflecting on that, I don't like where I was there. Second half of 2021, or like where I'm at right now and thinking about finishing out this year, I'm really proud of myself. So I just want to keep doing that in 2021. So hopefully that wasn't too long, and hopefully that makes some kind of sense. And then the next question is 3 highlights of the year. So I guess it's not a question, but let's see. I would say Sophie losing her first tooth, and since then I think she's lost 4 more. Or 3 more, so 4 together, I'm pretty sure is the total that we're at right now. So that's been like a fun, like new stage of parenting that we've been in. And I thought that that was just, I don't know, very interesting and like exciting in its own way, but also super bittersweet because she's losing her baby teeth. And it's just, I don't know, you're like, you get sentimental about things that you think that you would never get sentimental about. There's just a lot of things like that I feel like give you this new perspective with parenting. Like when Sophie crossed over into the little girl section for buying clothes and she was out of the toddler section, like I got really emotional about that, and that was really hard for me. And honestly, Remy is on her way over there too, and Lexi is on her way to toddler sizes and not in baby clothes, and just all of that kind of stuff gets emotional. And it's like, I never thought in a million years I would feel that way. But anyways, the second highlight would probably be all the time that we got to spend together as a family. Like, even though, yes, isolating, staying at home, quarantining, all of those kind of things can be difficult on your mental health and can put a strain on it. It's also time that I would never have had with our kids and our family otherwise. So I am thankful for it, because it also allowed Lexi to have what Remy and Sophie had. So when we had Remy, Sophie was too young for preschool. She was 1.5 years. So they grew up together, like at home all the time with each other 24/7. And when we had Lexi, they were in preschool, but like, and it was only for like a couple hours a day, but, you know, Sophie was going to go to kindergarten. That was all day long. And, you know, it would have been just fine. But she has had her sisters home 24/7, just like Sophie and Remy had. And they're all becoming like little best friends. And I love that. So there's just been things about having like all this time together that's been really nice. And I think that the third highlight of the year would also be just about me and Mark's relationship. We have put in a lot of work in our relationship over this past year or two, and we've recently found some like really fun things that we like to do with each other again. And I don't know, I just feel like we're seeing that hard work pay off too, which is really nice, because we're going on 10 years of being together, and not every year, not every month, not every week or every day is perfect. Or, you know, it's not like you put in the hard work to have a good relationship and then you're just like done for the next 60 years. You know, it's a continual effort, and it's nice to see you be in a great place because of all that hard work. So I'm really proud of us for that. And there's a bunch of other more highlights, like, you know, Mark getting promoted and seeing Remy like fall in love with video games and kind of become like her own person, because for a while I feel like Remy would just basically copy Sophie and what she liked and stuff, but Remy is really branching out and being okay with liking her own things, and seeing Lexi go from a baby to a toddler, which I don't want to talk at length about, but all of these like small little things are also, they kind of like add up and they're a highlight too. That's kind of why I wanted to start doing a family yearbook. I got the idea from Marley. She does one for her family, and I thought that is a great idea, because I have all these pictures on my phone and I never do anything with them. So at least every year I could order a book and we could have that to look back on. So when that comes in the mail, I'll share it with you guys if you're interested. But the next question is, what have you learned from this craziness, this year, that you want to carry into future years? Oh my. I guess that I should never say never. And I know that's like a cliche thing and something that we should all just understand and know. But, you know, I really said for many years, people would ask me if I would homeschool. And I said, absolutely not. That is beyond my capacity as a parent. And I had no shame about it. It wasn't something that I wanted to do, that I thought I would ever take on, and that I just quite frankly didn't think I could do. Here I am. And if you ask me, I'm doing a great job. There are days where I'm questioning that and I feel like I'm not doing a good job, but I know deep down that I am. And I'm really proud of myself for that. One of the things that I was the most intimidated about was teaching Sophie how to read. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons I said I wouldn't homeschool, was because I was like, reading is a fundamental of life. And I do not know how to teach that. And if I teach her wrong, like, it's reading. So that was something that intimidated me and scared me to no end. And she's reading. There's been a lot of other things. You know, I said when the girls were going to school that I could not do 3 at home the way we did 2 at home when the older girls were really young. Here I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just been a lot of things that before 2020, I said, absolutely not. I cannot. No. I can't do that. And here I am. I'm doing it. And I'm proud of it. Even something as simple as Thanksgiving. I've watched my mom and my aunt and my grandma and all of these women in my life make holiday meals. And I'm like, I could never just cook a full-blown meal for an entire family. Like, that just is not me, and that's not in my capabilities, which is okay, by the way. But Thanksgiving, I cooked our family an entire meal, like a traditional Thanksgiving meal. I did it. And I was so proud of myself because I was like, look at me. And how resilient and adaptive our kids are. You know, they've given up a lot this year, and a lot of emotions about that, but I won't get into that. But seeing them take it in stride, and they have definitely had difficult times and days, and, you know, by no means are they like perfect and unaffected by anything. It's just that they handle it very well. Children really, truly are resilient. And that does not mean that they need to be nurtured less or anything like that. It's just, I've seen that in action now. So I've always heard how resilient kids are, but I'm really seeing it firsthand. I've just seen how capable we all are this year, you know, even with Mark and I. Next question is top 3 favorite shows from 2020. Honestly, I don't know that I watched that many new shows. Honestly, I don't start new shows very often. I don't really like new shows. I tend to stick with the ones that I know and I like. But I have watched a lot of movies. And I'll insert them right here because I cannot think of that kind of stuff off the top of my head. But yeah, I don't know that I've even watched more than like 2 new TV series or anything like that. And I get into stuff, but then I stop watching it because the older ones, I know how much I love them. And when you start a new show, that love has to build, but I'm just so impatient for it. I'll just go back to something I've watched like 13 times. Okay, I had to put a new battery in because for some reason that one died super quick. But the next question is how do you and your husband work out the amount of time he spends playing video games? So this is something that I feel like definitely has came over the years. Mark and I have both always played video games ever since before each other, and when we met each other, and dating, everything in between. Obviously, when it is just you two, time is very different than it is when you have a family. So I feel like over the years, it's been trial and error and figuring out what works for us and what doesn't work for us. I would say that the system that we have right now is the one that works the best. So far, I would say that I'm pretty happy with it, and so is he. But right now we are also playing a lot of video games together. Almost every single night we're playing Phasmophobia together, which is a ghost hunting game that we both really enjoy. But there's also nights where I want to be on my iPad or just watch something on the couch or whatever, you know, I just want to do my own thing, and so does he. So he'll play Call of Duty or whatever, and when he works, he only plays for, you know, the few hours before he goes to bed at night, after the girls go to sleep, and before he has to go to bed for work. But on the weekend, when he has the next day off or something like that, if it's one of those days where we wanted to do something together, we'll do that. And then after that's done, whether it's a movie, a game, like, you know, whatever we're doing, and once that's over, he'll go play, and I don't care how long he plays because he could be up until 3 a.m. and he gets up with the kids, and he's the same dad when he gets like 4 hours of sleep versus when he gets 7 hours of sleep. So it doesn't really matter, and that's his own decision, and he's really great about that kind of stuff. But sticking to playing when the kids go to sleep at night, helps a lot. There are some days where if he has 3 or 4 days off in a row and nothing crazy is going on, if he wants to play while the kids are up, then it's whatever. But if he's going to play games while the kids are up, he typically sticks to ones where he can, just quit, and he's not going to get penalized or anything like that from the game for it. He can just quit things if something's really crazy and I need his help. But for the most part, our regular routine is just after the kids go to sleep, and his schedule is his own, and how he feels, that's all up to him. So that's his own personal decision how long he plays. And as long as we are spending time together as a couple, I'm okay with him playing video games, just like he's okay with me doing whatever I want to do in my free time. So like I said, it's been a lot of trial and error over the years, but that's typically what works for us, is just waiting until the kids go to bed, making sure that we're also having balanced time, spending time together. And we have a whole routine on that. So I hope that was helpful in some way, shape, or form. I feel like I've spent 3 years on that question. So the next question was, what was the name of the razor you used and mentioned here on Instagram? That's Billy. I love my Billy razor. I talk about that a lot over there. And I actually just got my new shipment in. It's sitting down there underneath my feet below my desk. But I love that thing, honestly. I think I pay $16-17 because I get the shaving cream and my razor, but the razor itself is only $9. But I love the shave cream, so I get both of those, and I get the slowest amount of shipments or whatever. So I think it's every 3 months they send me my refills and my shaving cream, which is perfect for me. I highly recommend them. They are the best razor I've ever used. And I actually thought of something that I haven't ever said before. I don't know that there's been a razor that I used that didn't cut me at some point. However, the Billy is the exception. If you need a razor subscription service, I highly recommend them. I really, really like it. The razor is just phenomenal. And the next question is, do you have any potty training tips? I'm having a hard time with my 3-year-old. I have a video on what we did potty training wise. It's just one video, but it's what we did for both Sophie and Remy. Sophie responded to it really well. Remy did really well with it too. We tried really young with Sophie. I think she was 1.5 years or maybe a little bit older, and we tried to potty train her, and it backfired so hard because she was nowhere near ready. But I just had this mentality of certain kids just have to be potty trained at this age because that's just what they should do. No, most kids, it happens when they're ready, and they're not going to respond to stuff before then. So just want you to know there's no pressure, and hopefully you can find something that works for you and your kiddo. But I will link that video for you because that's what we'll do whenever Lexi's ready, because it worked really well for the older girls. The next question, will you be watching Grey's Anatomy in the new year? Honestly, that show, it's irresponsible. I love quoting Kelly Kapoor because that's exactly how I feel about it. I hate watch Grey's. It is not the show that it was 10 years ago, but I have sunk this much time into it that I refuse to not see it out. So here I am. I'm not happy with it. I think it's a crap show anymore. I would not recommend it. At a certain season, I think you should just stop watching it, and I think that you should just make up your own ending and just live in that. Because honestly, it's so bad at this point. I really hate what they've done for these past few episodes. They could have done so much more. And those of you who have watched them, you know what I'm saying. They could have done so much more, and they didn't. So, I've heard a lot of speculation that this will be the last season. All I can do is cross my fingers and hope, because honestly, that should have been done forever ago. All I'm going to say is that if Meredith Grey is not happy and content at the end of the series, I will lose my ever-loving mind, because she can never be content. We must always mess with her. Always. The storyline is old. She can be content and have things in life, and there can also be drama within the show that makes it interesting without having to set a nuclear bomb on top of her life. I don't know. It's just a thought. Anyways, so the next question is, what was your favorite month of 2020? This one is a hard one because I want to say Christmas, but December. But honestly, it was also really hard. I think it was one of the hardest. And I also kind of want to say July, because In like June, July, cases in Ohio started to go down. We felt more comfortable being around really close friends and family who were also being safe themselves while they were out. And we were getting like that sense of normalcy back, which felt really, really nice. And that was really good. So I'm really torn between those two. So like the summer months where like we got to have a little bit more of a normal life, but also the Christmas season is just always a favorite too. And the next question is, was EPing easier the second or third time around? Or were there other factors besides caring for 2 or 3? Definitely the third time around. And I think it has everything to do with, like you're saying, other factors. It's not about caring for however many children. With Sophie's EP journey, I didn't know what was going on. It was all like a first time learning process. I felt like a mess the entire time. With Remy's, I had that massive oversupply that created so many different complications. I was in physical and emotional pain all the time, and it was just really, really hard on my body. I don't think it ever really truly recovered because I do have one breast that makes less than the other one, and it was the one that I had the really nasty mastitis with, and just a whole thing. But that was really hard too. But with Lexi's EP journey, it has been a world difference. I am making exactly what she eats now. I do not put any away in the freezer. But even when I was, it was so nice. It's been so nice. And we are actually coming up on a 1.5 years. Well, in February, it will be a 1.5 years. But it's been going great. Honestly, I feel like I can do this for a while. And I have been looking for that the first 2 times. I just wanted to feel like it was sustainable. And I am so thankful that I've had this experience with her. And I know that not everybody gets this because I know I didn't even get it the first 2 times. So I feel really thankful. But, I haven't had major complications. I'm not saying it's been a breeze. It hasn't been easy. It's definitely still hard. There are definitely days I still don't want to do it. And I'm sick of it. I just want to go to bed. I hate that the first thing I have to do when I get up is pump. And trust me, like all those things are still there. But it's been so much easier because there's been so few complications. So I haven't had thrush or mastitis, or I've had clogged ducts, but like nothing chronic. And also just the fact that I know what I'm doing, it's just been really, really nice. So honestly, the third time has been the easiest, and it's just been like because of those other factors. Although I will say that my older girls are older now, so they can get themselves snacks, they entertain themselves. I trust them to, do whatever for 30 minutes, even if it is playing in their room by themselves. So the second to last question is if I would recommend therapy, and I would. I have been doing it for the past 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. I can't remember my exact start date with my therapist, but it's something that was more beneficial to me than I could have even hoped for. And I understand that that's a privilege. I live in the United States, and until a year ago, I didn't even have mental health coverage. And I didn't even know until 6 months ago that I had it, because we were not notified that mental health coverage was going to be put on our plan. Had no idea. So if you remember quite a few years back, I said that my insurance didn't offer it, and it didn't. And then the policy changed whenever we renewed, either in 2019 or 2020, who knows? Because we were never told that the policy had changed and now included mental health coverage. In the United States, it's not widely covered on insurances. It's also something that's super expensive with or without insurance sometimes. And I'm just really grateful to be in a position where it's now covered, and there's just a $40 copay every time I go. And I say just, and I know some people will be horrified at the fact that it even costs $40, but it can cost up to $150. And that's with insurance. So there's some times where it can cost upwards of $200 plus without insurance per session. So if someone's going every week, is going 2 times a week, is going 2 times a month, it all adds up. So it can be very expensive. It's something that you have to be able to afford, just like any other part of healthcare in the United States, which is horrendous. So I understand that it's a huge privilege that I have the opportunity to go to therapy and afford it. And I see that, and
and it lights a fire inside me that I can't begin to explain because it makes me so angry. But in my opinion, you do not need to be in a crisis. You do not have to suffer with your mental health in order for you to go. It is nice to have a third-party, unbiased person validate your feelings. It can be as simple as that. It can be as simple as just having somebody to talk to where you know whatever you say is not going to leave the walls of that room, or Zoom call if you're doing it the way that I am. But it's really nice. I thought therapy was for people who were having a crisis, and that's exactly where I was 6 months ago. And looking back, I didn't think that 6 months ago. And when I think about where I am right now compared to 6 months ago, it makes me emotional. It makes me want to cry because I was in a horrible position. And had I not gotten into therapy, had I not started working with a professional on my mental health, it's scary to think about the what ifs and what could have beens. So I'm thankful for it. And I will forever suggest it to anybody who just needs someone to talk to. If you think you are struggling with mental health, if you need a safe space, if you want to validate your feelings, if you like anything, you don't have to be on the verge of breaking to go either. I thoroughly recommend it. It's been very eye-opening for me, and you guys have been so supportive and just really kind through it all. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, OCD, and a general anxiety disorder. It's not an overnight process. There's a lot of work involved. You're going to have to earn trust with your therapist. It definitely took me a while to get there. But when you do those hard things, when you do find that trust and you can really start to open up and talk about the hard things and work through those difficult things, and like I said, just do that hard work in and out of therapy, you'll find that growth. And that's what I think that I've started to see. And that's what I really want to lean into. And it's hard. It's hard to unlearn things. It's hard to relive things. It's a lot. It's even a lot to live with the reality of the situation, but you're going to be better for it. I think it is worth the hard work. I think it's worth it to go if you can afford it, if it's something that you want to do, if you can do. I would recommend it. And then the very last question is future plans. 2021 and beyond. Jobs, family, house, goals, all of it. So she's just asking to hear about what my plans are. So I guess I kind of touched on that earlier, but as far as the house goes, we actually had plans back when cases settled down over the summer. We were really getting interested in going and looking for a house again to buy. But during a pandemic, being in someone else's home that is a stranger, me going into their home, me walking around their home, it just doesn't feel right. So when that gets better, definitely, but who knows with all of this. So we definitely do want to start looking for a house, but it just has to not be in the middle of a pandemic for us. And then as far as jobs, Mark just got promoted, so he's really been liking his new position. I'm so happy for him because he's just the best at what he does. And as far as me, I would like to get more consistent on here, but I'm also trying to find new things and find a groove and enjoy it. I don't want to come on here out of obligation or whatever. I don't want to force myself. I really don't. And part of that is knowing my limits and my boundaries and setting those even when it comes to work. So I'm hoping that I can find a healthier balance between it all and that I can really start to also make videos that just make me happy again. So things like this. I love doing this and the update video and talking to you guys in the comments and stuff. I love doing that stuff. So I want to get back into those kind of things and making those kind of videos. And then as far as the family, I don't want anything extravagant. I just want to take the kids to the zoo. I want to go make Build-A-Bears. I know Build-A-Bear is extravagant. I mean, with 3 kids, I can't even begin to imagine. I'm going to need a small loan. But I just want to do that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We didn't go make Build-A-Bears for Remy's 4th birthday, and her 5th birthday is coming up. So, if we could just get out of the house and be able to do that, that'd be amazing. I just want to take my kids to the zoo. I just want to take them to go do stuff, have summer sports, go to school, play with their friends. I do not need a lavish vacation. I will take it, but I don't need it. I just want some normalcy for them. So that would be fantastic. And also, if we are talking about like beyond, I would really love to just stay at a hotel or someplace when things settle down and just have a hot bath. I don't know if you guys know this because I don't really talk about it here, but I talk about it a lot on Instagram because it's one of my biggest dreams. But we only have a standing shower in this house. So the last time I took a bath, I take showers regularly, but the last time I took a relaxing bath was 5 years ago because we got married 5 years ago and I stayed in a bridal suite. I took 3 baths that night because then it was 2 years since I had taken a bath. So I soaked it up every minute of having a bathtub, but it's been 5 years since I've had one. And some days I want a relaxing bath. So you know what I would like when all this calms down? I would like to stay in a hotel with my husband in the quiet in a bathtub. That's all I want. All I want. As far as future plans, like I said, I just want to continue to work on myself. I feel like once I get my mental health in a really good spot, I feel like the other things that I want to work on with myself, whether it's like physical health and beyond or whatever, I feel like a lot of the other stuff are also going to fall into place. 6 months ago, I was telling my husband that I felt like I was drowning. I can't worry about my physical health or any of the people that I love around me if I feel like I'm drowning. And I never want to get back to that place. I want to continue to do the work that I have been doing to not be in that place and to continue to be in a better place. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And maybe that's uncomfortable for some people to hear that, but it's the truth. And I think more people need to say how they're actually feeling. And 6 months ago, I felt like I was drowning. And now I can say, after 6 months of hard work, that I don't feel like I am anymore. And that's amazing. That's amazing. So I want to continue to work on that so I can focus on other things that I want to give my attention, like my physical health and things to do with work and all the other things that I have in my head that I just don't have the capacity for if I feel like I mentally can't handle life. So I'm working on myself from the inward out, and that's what I'm going to focus on in 2021, and just focusing on our family and keeping us safe and hopefully gaining some sense of normalcy. And hopefully I can edit this down to not be an hour and a half long, but we'll see. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you want to work on for 2021, or a goal, a resolution, a theme, a word, whatever you're doing that makes you comfortable. Let me know down in the comments below. And I just wanted to say, I know that there's a lot of posts about what if 2020 was the best year of your life. And you know, if you can jive with that, that's amazing. But I also want to let the people know who want to just say that 2020 sucked and they want the clean slate of 2021 to know that that's okay too. Like, we don't always need a silver lining. If that helps you, that's great and that's amazing. But if you don't want to, that's okay too. It's been a really long, tough year, full with a lot of hard shit. And, you know, 2021 is not going to be this miraculous year where everything just stops and everything's fine. But I hope that the new year can give you a new sense of just having a clean plate that maybe doesn't feel as messy and chaotic and overwhelming as this year did on several occasions. And I would really like to hear what you're hoping for in 2021. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'm not going to make the cheesy "I'll see you next year" joke, but I will. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.